Hello, growth experts. We are on the fourth podcast of this 10 podcast series of the ebook that I did, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But today we're building a resilient business culture. So, welcome back to Influence and Growth Mastery, the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to build a strong, resilient business that thrive even in challenging times. And we know that today is challenging times. I'm your host, Tanya Gossage, and today we're going to explore how to create a resilient business culture, one that empowers your team, fosters innovation, and ensures your business can adapt and grow in any environment. So let's go ahead and get into this. First of all, we're going to talk about the importance of a resilient business culture. We're going to talk a lot about my corporate background today because as of right now, I no longer have a team. It's just me, solopreneur, but I have a tremendous amount of experience managing teams and working with teams, 34 years experience of working with teams. So we'll talk a lot about that. And while I was in corporate, I did not own that business. I was a huge part of the management team that was helping with strategy and the growth process of that. And many of you have probably seen my bio where I helped to grow my bank from millions to billions. And we did that through marketing strategies and acquisitions and conversions. And like I say, myself, my team, my boss, and other departments were a huge part of that, but I was part of that team. So I have a lot of experience in talking about building a resilient business culture today. So it's not, a business culture, a resilient business culture is not just a nice to have thing. It is a must have. And why? Because resilience, it's not just about bouncing back from adversity, something that has happened. It's about thriving, absolutely thriving in it. When things go wrong, how do you come back? My ebook, the first part of it is, from setback to comeback. How are you coming back from adversity? One thing I'll mention just real quickly here before I go on, this has just come to my mind, is how am I coming back from the passing of my father? I have spent the last year and a half to 2 years every other week at my parents' home caregiving. And I will tell you, there has been a lot of adversity in my business, in my personal life, and all of these things that I am now bouncing back from, building my business back from what it was to what it's going to be again and further, my goals. And if you're in my Facebook group, we'll be talking about your goals today, but bouncing back from that adversity and then thriving in it and coming back a better creature, if you will, a better person, and creating a workplace where challenges are viewed as opportunities. I've talked about this almost in every one of these 4 podcasts now, where these challenges, they are your opportunities to prove yourself. And by golly, I am going to prove myself that I am going to be as successful as a solopreneur as I was in my corporate career, which I was very successful in my corporate career. And I am going to be that successful in this role as well. And so where challenges, let me back up 1 second here, where challenges are viewed as opportunities, and where failure is seen as your stepping stone to your success, and where every team member that you have on your team, whether it is a paid W-2 or a 1099 individual that you pay, every team member feels empowered to contribute their very best. And I have to tell you, I have the best team that worked with me. I had 22 people that worked directly underneath me in corporate. And I have to say, they were the best team to work with. And I'll talk about other teams that weren't as good as my team in the corporate world. And part of that team came with me when I first started my consulting business in my entrepreneurship. And due to COVID and what all has happened in the financial space, I decided to dissolve that and go a different route. And they came with me because of what we had in the corporate world. And we had a resilient culture. And so I want you to think about this. A resilient culture can be the difference between, it gives me chills, can be the difference between a business that folds under pressure and one that adapts, it evolves, and even grows stronger. There were times when we were doing various projects, acquisitions, conversions, whatever it was, that we were under so much pressure that as a department, not as a business, as a company as a whole, could have folded because the bank was extremely strong. But as a department, due to the stress we were under, we could have folded under pressure, but we didn't. We came together. We evolved together. We grew stronger together. And that is what enables you as a team to navigate uncertainties and to navigate them with confidence. It helps you to make decisions quickly. It helps you to maintain morale, even when the going gets tough. And I can even say, as a solopreneur, the going has gotten tough for me as I sat week after week after week. And the things that I was doing in my business was having to diminish because I was having to make alterations because the things that I was working on, my dad was requiring more of my time than I was able to give my business, than I was able to give my clients, that I was able to do what I was doing. And so the going was getting tough and I was getting stressed. And I was like, my morale was being impacted, but I had to get tough. And I had to say, what are the important things here? You have to make decisions in your business. When the going gets tough, you build a confidence in you and you make decisions and you build a resilient business culture that helps you move forward. And so those are the things that help you build the best strategies oftentimes, because you can rely upon the people that you have in your ecosystem, your team, your family, your community, that helps you realize that without a strong, resilient culture, even your best strategies can falter. But when you shift your focus and you create a culture that values open communication and innovation and continuously learning among your people, among your team, you will see a business that thrives. You will see a team that thrives. And that's what I had within my department. Because when the going got tough, I brought my team together. What is our strategy? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? How can we help other people? We can't fall apart. They were my strength. I was their strength. We pulled together. We had weekly meetings. We worked on projects together. It was never a me thing. I took my team to the top with me. So let's stop right here. I want to tell you that before we continue, if you're serious about building a resilient business culture, I want you to make sure that you take time to download my free ebook, From Setback to Comeback. From Setback to Comeback, Cultivating Resilience in Business. It's filled with strategies, stories, and insights to help you create a strong foundation for your team and your business. The link should be in the show notes. And if not, you can find it on my Substack link. And I have had people tell me that it's not worked for them. If it doesn't, put a note for me in the comments and I will reach out to you and make sure that you get a workable link. Also, let's talk about key elements of building a resilient business culture. So what makes your business culture or any business culture resilient? I've already said open communication. And you have to know that communication is key to, air quotes, everything. Without open communication, I'm just going to say it, everything fails. Everything fails. You have to have open communication. A resilient culture starts with transparency. It starts with trust. And you have to encourage an open dialogue where every team member, hear me out, every team member feels comfortable sharing their ideas, sharing their concerns, and their feedback. My boss that I've had quite a few bosses in my career. I'm going to go down in history that 2 of my bosses were fabulous, but one of them was exceptional. And I'll go to my grave giving this man credit. Love that man. He was phenomenal at taking in ideas, taking in concerns, taking in feedback. And he would take that and he may come back and say, there's nothing I could do about it. He may give constructive feedback back, but it created an environment where challenges could be addressed proactively rather than reactively. And I wanted to cultivate what he did for us, his team, into my team. And I learned he was so young. I mean, so young, but he knew so much about communication and fostering leadership and how to manage a team and how to take the good versus the bad and the concerns and the ideas and do things with them. And what wasn't so good, he just left it out there. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I want to instill in you in how you build your business culture. Create an environment where challenges can be addressed proactively rather than reactively. Was I perfect at that? No. Did I have people on my team that did it better than me that were in supervisory positions? Absolutely. I did. And I let them handle it. When it was their team, I let them handle it because they did it better than me. Did I offer them advice when it was appropriate? Yes. Did I have them tell me sometimes I was a micromanager? Yes. But because they did it better than me, I let them do it. But you have to have that open communication dialogue in your business, in your community, in your marriage, in any type of relationship with your kids, with your grandkids. Open communication is everything. It is the key to success today. So, also, you have to encourage innovation and experimentation. A resilient business is one that embraces change and is not afraid to take risk. I've told you before, I'm a risk taker. We have been risk takers in our investing because we wanted to make more money. Have we made losses? Absolutely. I've been a risk taker in my business. I've been a risk taker in corporate. I've been more of a risk taker in my business, and I have made some huge mistakes, and I own up to them. I've made some big losses, but I look at them as stock investments and I say, another one bites the dust, and let's move on and let's learn from it. But a resilient business is one that embraces change and is not afraid to take those risks. And are there some times that fear looks at me in the face and says, are you afraid of this? And I say, I am, but let's try it anyway. Foster that culture where experimentation is encouraged and failure is seen as part of the learning experience. That was hard. That was hard in corporate, but we did it. We did it. And I'm doing it in my business. The mindset not only drives innovation, but it also helps your team become so much more adaptable. They adapt to you, they adapt to your culture, to your brand, and to what you want to do in the future. Don't be afraid to let things fail. Don't be afraid to try new things. Are you going to fail at things? Did you fall down as a toddler? Yes. But did you get back up? Yes. Did you fall off of your bicycle? Yes. Did you get back up? Yes. Did you eventually master that skill? You did. And you will this too. Prioritize your staff's well-being. This is so needed in the world today. So needed. A resilient team is a healthy team. Make sure that you prioritize the mental, emotional, and physical well-being. It was lacking. It was so lacking. Oftentimes where I was in many departments or as a whole, as a company as a whole. But there were certain departments that took care of that. And I'm asking you to consider that as well. This includes offering some flexibility, promoting work-life balance, and providing resources for stress management. In today's world, it's critical. We are stressed out people today. Stressed out people. You know, it's easy for us to give advice, but then to do it ourselves. You know, I find myself sometimes giving people advice, and then I find myself in the caregiving space. And there were times I walked out of the room, of my father's room, and I would get to the couch and I would just want to break down in tears because I was like, I can't walk in there one more time. I can't walk in there one more time and answer that same question again. I now understand what people are talking about that level of stress. But you can do it. I did it. Time and time and time again. You reach out to the people who care about you and you send that meme of you running down the street saying, somebody please help me, somebody please help me, somebody please help me, and then you feel better. Or you put that positive call out message on Facebook like I did the week before my father passed away. I put out a positive. It was positive. But nobody knew that was my cry for help. That was my cry for help on social media. People, I need you to pray for me. But there were moments in that I was talking about work-life balance. I was excited to have a work-from-home job that I could also be there for my family. And that if I worked for corporate, I would not have been able to do what I was doing. And there is so much truth to that. And so have understanding for your team that is going through certain adversities in their life and provide them resources for stress management. I needed it back then. And I was desperate and I was reaching out for help, for prayers, for people to talk to, because I was tired week after week after week, sitting in there, just creating content. I worked on this content while I was there. And I was so thankful for it because I have content out the wazoo that I probably will not ever get through. And I'll continue to work on content. But it fed my soul to be able to do that while I wasn't able to have as many clients as I had previously. But I now have content that I can launch. And I was so glad to be there for my father. But provide and promote work-life balance, provide resources for stress management, and celebrate their small wins, recognizing people's small achievements. I cannot tell you how that builds momentum and motivation. You give someone a hug, you tell someone congratulations, you pat them on the back, you do the small things for them, you mail them a thank you card. You do the very thing. Many of you that are watching this are not going to be friends with me on Facebook. I got a mystery gift from Amazon. That video and that reel has probably reached 1,600 people now. I have no clue who sent me a hug in a mug and this and a bath bomb and a candle and a pair of lamb socks with a heart on it, my favorite emoji, in sympathy for my father's passing. I have no idea. Still to this day, I have no idea who sent that. But that to me was like a small win and a gratitude for doing what I did for my dad. You have no idea what that mystery gift has done for me and my morale. In the challenging times, it has reinforced a sense of progress and an accomplishment for me. I feel good. I feel good about what I did. Not knowing who sent it drives me a little bit crazy. But doing the small thing to recognize a win for somebody, you have no idea what that will do for somebody. Recognize your small wins and recognize the small wins of other people. Now, strategies to build a resilient culture. Now that we've covered I'm sorry, I keep looking over here. This window is open and there's so much going on out there that is distracting me, and I apologize for that. But now that we've covered the key elements, let's talk about some practical strategies that you can implement to build that resilient culture in your business, or if you're in corporate. Oh my gosh, I'm tongue-tied. In corporate, what can you do? Again, it goes back to the very first thing that I talked about, and it is foster that open communication channel. I cannot tell you how important it is to allow people to feel comfortable to talk to you. First of all, if you don't have regular meetings, team meetings, start them. They're critical. Allow people to have feedback sessions. Open forums can create a culture of transparency. Encourage everyone to speak up and share their concerns and their voice of concerns. I just joined a group that someone is doing in their group that I have to tell you, I would have never thought of. I would have thought that it was unproductive. But after watching a few of them, I can see what it's fostering in their community. And they're calling it coffee breaks, morning coffee breaks. Now, I don't drink coffee, but a lot of my friends and a lot of people in my community do. I drink an energy drink, but why can it not be coffee and energy breaks? Whatever. Coffee and tea breaks. But every single morning in her group for 30 minutes, she opens up to her community and just sits just like I am with you right now and opens a dialogue of communication. And they just visit. She's live and they're chatting. Her daughter sometimes comes in and jumps on with her. And one of the couple that I saw, her daughter draws things and they guess what it is. And if whoever guesses it gets a hug from their pet. That may sound dumb to you, but after watching a few, you would not believe how many people participate in that. Open up a communication channel and you will be amazed at how your communication or your community will show up because you are giving them a channel to speak up, share their thoughts, voice their concerns, and have your attention, whether it's in your community or whether it's in your corporate space. People want to be heard. Again, I'll say it again. Communication is key. Communication is key. I don't know whether I will start that or not, but I have to tell you, it's on my mind and I am highly considering it. It may not be morning. It may be afternoon. It may be afternoon break, power hour. I don't know. But I love what she's doing because I'm seeing what she is fostering in that group. She's also encouraging learning and development. She's offering opportunities for professional growth and development in her community. People are asking questions. She talks about workshops, mentor programs. You could talk about a book club or a special book that you've been reading. They talk about all kinds of things Again, it's an open dialogue for people to talk about what they want to talk about. She asked them, what's on your calendar for today? And they all type it in. And it starts a dialogue amongst them. She shares kind of what she's doing today. Do you see what this could open up for you as a business owner? A culture of continuous learning keeps your team engaged. It keeps them motivated. It keeps them ready to face challenges. I love it. I love it. Let's go back to talking about promoting this flexibility and work-life balance. Provide flexible work arrangements. Encourage breaks, and ensure that your team knows it's okay to unplug, even if it's for 3 minutes. I personally unplug a few times a day. When my shoulders feel tight from typing, from doing what I do, I get up and go walk my dog. I go outside and get some fresh air. I may take my trash to the dumpster. I may get in my vehicle and take my husband's ironing, to the dry cleaners. I just need a break. I need to get away. Now, I realize that if you work in corporate, you can't do that. But as long as the job gets done, what does it matter? Let your people know they can unplug for a few minutes, and you will get more out of them. When employees feel supported in their personal lives, they're going to be more resilient and more productive at work. I had a conversation with my neighbor just a couple of days ago, and she was telling me that she was offered a promotion, a pretty significant pay raise. And she was telling me she was struggling to make the decision because with this promotion, she now works from home. She has a great boss who allows her to have a flexible work schedule. She encourages breaks. She says she's just a phenomenal boss, the best she's had. And with this new job, she has to go into the office now 5 days a week. She has to drive downtown. Well, here in Little Rock, that could be from where we live. To drive it without the traffic, 15 minutes. To drive it with the traffic, 45 minutes to an hour. She's going to have to buy all new clothes. In 6 months, she's due a $10,000 raise, which will cut this significant raise in half. I said to her, 6 months, 10 grand difference. Being able to work from home, have a flexible schedule, not having to buy new clothes, that is pennies to me. There is no way in heck, no way in heck would you get me back in corporate for $10,000. There's no way. I love to dress up. I can dress up right here in front of the camera. To drive 45 minutes to an hour and risk myself in this crazy traffic to be in an accident? No, thank you. To go have to deal with the negative people? No, thank you. To be able to do what I do from here at home, I'll take a $10,000 decrease to do what I do, to do what she does. So think about those things. People feel supported when you support them in their personal lives, and they feel more resilient and productive at work when they know you care and the communication is open. So as a leader, I want you to lead by example. It's so essential to model resilience. Be transparent about your challenges. I've been transparent with you. about my challenges through the last year and a half to 2 years with my dad. I get emotional sometimes when I talk about it. Demonstrate how you navigate through your setbacks and show that you value growth and adaptability. Your behavior sets the tone for your entire business, for your department, your company, your entrepreneurship, your small business, brick and mortar, whatever you have. Your leadership sets the tone. So whatever your position is, I'm talking to you. You set the tone. I remember when I was in corporate, I was told, wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you say, you are my brand. And I was. And it took me a while to ditch that. But now those same things are my brand. Wherever I go, whatever I do, whatever I wear, whatever I say is my brand, which is much more relaxed than my corporate brand. Trust me. It feels great to be able to wear a hoodie 2 or 3 days a week or a t-shirt rather than a suit or heels. I used to wear heels every day and I loved it. Now where I wear heels for about 4 hours, I'm like, they're killing my feet. How did I wear them for 12 and 14 hours a day? I couldn't even wear tennis shoes back then. And now I love certain types of tennis shoes, flat tennis shoes. But yeah, so things make a difference. Be a leader that people want to follow. You know, I have found in my own business that implementing a fail forward policy has been incredibly effective. I have found that people want to follow me because I'm true, I'm authentic, I can be trusted. This means that I can accept my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I sometimes can celebrate my mistakes because I look at them as learning opportunities. And I don't just talk about necessarily what went wrong, but what I learned from them and what I can do better. I've shared things with you before, what I can do better. And it's created a culture where people aren't afraid to take a risk. I've helped people get better at taking risks and try new things and knowing that failure is a part of growth. It is a part of growth. You have to be willing to fail. Let go of the perfectionism. I have a client right now. It's been a struggle to share in almost every meeting. You have to let go. You have to let go of the OCDism, as I call it. Let go of the perfectionism. My background is not beautiful. It's not set up. My audio may not be perfect. My makeup may not be perfect. My hair is dirty. It's so dirty right now. But I don't care. I could have come to you like I have in some of my other videos while I have been at my dad's or while I've come back exhausted with no makeup, a ball cap, or whatever. I don't care anymore. I want to be me. I want to be authentic. I want to build a culture of who I am. And I want to be a leader that impacts people and ditch the OCDism. Just show up without fearing failure and being a person of impact. So now let's talk about measuring the impact of a resilient culture. How do you know if your efforts are working? Well, number one, you know because you're seeing the impact of what's going on from what you do. You see your clients making progress. You see your groups growing. You see the engagement on your social media. And I will state here, as I'm going to be working with people in my group about growing their audiences, we will be growing in numbers, but I want you to know that it's not always about the numbers. It is about the impact and helping the people grow their business. It's about who you know. It's about how well you know them and how you can help them. Numbers is great, and numbers don't lie. But my audience is big with impact. It may not be big with numbers, but it's big with impact. And it can be challenging to get there, and that's okay. But you're on the right track when you can measure the people that you're impacting. And we will start measuring some numbers, but it's not always, and I want you to get this, it is not always about the numbers. Let's talk about employee engagement and satisfaction. You should regularly survey your team, gauge their satisfaction and engagement levels. You should know where they are at all times. High engagement typically indicates a strong, resilient culture. I'll mention again, I am part of some groups, a lot of technology groups, because as you know, I'm an affiliate marketer and I have relationships with a lot of the founders that I am an affiliate marketer for. And they have close-knit communities. And that's what I want to build. It's more about a close-knit community to me than it is about the numbers. Again, it's more about the impact. And I have to tell you that the people in those communities are surveyed often. Those founders know the satisfaction level because they have high engagement from certain people that are their true followers, their true users of their platforms. And so that's what you want to try to build. Retention rates, a resilient culture, helps you retain top talent. In my corporate department, I had 22 employees. Many of them have been with me for, it was 10 plus years. Some of them 20 something years, they had been with me. People stay with you when you treat them right, when you do them well, when you survey them. You know what their likes are. You know what their dislikes are. You know what makes them feel good. And when you keep top talent, that is a good sign that your team feels valued and they feel supported. And you'll know that by your metrics. You want to track the number of new ideas, initiatives, projects that emerge. There's so many tools out there that can help you with that. But you want to create a culture that encourages experimentation. And when you create that culture where you have a team that loves to experiment, you're going to naturally produce more innovation for your business. It's just naturally going to happen. And then you're going to be able to create things for your business just like this. I'm part of another group. They're constantly creating webinars, freebies, PLR materials, just like this. Amazes me. Now, she does have a team. She has a great team. And I'm going to be like her one day. I am so going to be like her one day. But because she has the team that she has, and they experiment, they're not afraid to experiment, they are constantly innovating. When an idea comes to mind, they're not afraid to try it. And I'm getting close to there. Because of the time I had off, I was able to think about so many things. And like I said, I have so much content. I just need the team. I just need to build the team to do that. But because I was off for so many months, I need the resources to be able to do it. But having those metrics so that you can track your business performance. Are you hitting the goals? Have you set your goals? Is your team exceeding your expectations? My team was so good. My team was so good. But resilient cultures tend to be high performing teams. I had a tagline when I first started my business, Gossage Performance Consulting, that performance drives results. And it does. Performance drives results. When you do, you get results. When you procrastinate, you get nothing. So regularly measure your results. I have somebody that I think is, yes, I knew he was about to raise his head. This is my partner, my team member currently today. His name is Benji. He is my business partner today. He sits in my chair behind me pretty much all day. He does have a bed back here behind me, but he doesn't sit in it much. As over the last year and a half, he has sat beside me on my mom and dad's couch as I have worked, and he has gotten used to being right beside me. And so now, as I've come home, he still believes he needs to be beside me. And so he has gotten used to feeling me. And so he sits behind me in my chair. And so he's my cushion every day. Say hi, Benji. But regularly measure these areas so that you can make some adjustments and continue to build that culture that supports resilience. And you will have a much more successful business. I can promise you that. And so to end today's episode, the 4th series in the 10 series podcast, I want to thank you for joining this episode. It is a little bit longer than the others that I've done, but I hope that you found the discussion today on building a resilient business culture extremely helpful. I love it when I can go back and talk about my corporate days. I love those days because it's built me into who I am today. And you have to know that it starts with those small steps and a commitment to foster any environment where people can thrive. But don't forget, download this free ebook, From Setback to Comeback, Cultivating Resilience in Business, so that you can have these strategies and insights. And if you're not already in my Influence and Growth Mastery Facebook group, as I've said before, it's been dead. It's pretty much past with my dad, but it's reviving. Going forward, it's reviving, and we're going to do great things. You're going to build your influence, you're going to grow, and you're going to master your online business in this group. And so until next time, I want you to keep building, keep fostering your relationships. I love you, and I will see you again soon for podcast number 5.